Hello out there. Thanks everybody for joining us on the NABLL weekly update. This week we've got Justin McKinney, the Collar City Kings GM, and Brian LaRock, the Grand Rapid Grizzlies GM. And we've got Tim Semish, as always, coming out of the NABLL. You're on the board, and you also are the Nashville Ignite. Justin, we've, you know, known each other a little bit here and there. We've gotten to film some of your games. You were actually just saying this year you guys have gotten better numbers. I mean, how's that been playing out for you come this season?
We're doing all double headers this year, so numbers is 100% necessary. It happens just because we had success last year. Guys see it and guys want to play, so it's been huge getting better numbers this year. Yeah,
You guys do like off-season recruiting stuff at all, or like get-togethers, or like?
a little bit, yeah. So there's plenty of leagues that we play in that I can recruit from. So just doing word of mouth, playing a bunch in Philadelphia. We go down for some tournaments down there. There's as many tournaments as we can go to. We went to Losny. We go to Utica has that beautiful setup these days. Anything we can get to up there. Just getting our name out, getting the word out. We don't have much of a social media presence, but word of mouth is mostly what we do to get players to come.
You don't got any young bucks that want to hop on Instagram for you guys?
Trust me, we've tried. We'd love to be one of those teams that does it. I don't have a stomach for it. Anybody that would help me, I've asked, and guys just don't want to put in a little bit of extra work, and I'm not going to push them. So word of mouth, getting our players there. Honestly, at the end of the day, we're just here to play games and have fun out there. So social media definitely is on the back burner. Eventually, hopefully we'll get up there, have a website, be legit. But right now we're just having fun, building chemistry and playing lacrosse.
Now, Brian, with the Grand Rapids team, you guys made it to nationals, and I'm trying to remember who it was I talked to. Said basically that you have little robot lacrosse players. How do you build these robots for your team? Where do they come from?
Well, we've been kind of fortunate being so close to the border. I played my junior career in Canada, so both of our goalies are from Canada, and then I've been able to kind of pull some of my friends I played with, and then again, word of mouth just starts spreading. So we've been able to kind of put Canadian style play in right away, and then between myself and our coaching staff, and then our goalies, and just all the Canadian guys, just kind of teaching box the right way has been super beneficial for us. I think we kind of get guys that are willing to buy in, and that's kind of why we've had so much success in the first 3 years of our program.
Now, you guys have only been a program for 3 years.
Yeah, this is year 4. Yeah, this is year 4 for us.
And do you guys have an affiliated youth program?
Working on it. So I'm involved in some program, like just helping out some state programs here now. Hopefully, able to take that next step. But as Justin said, it's a lot of work just running this team. So I coach a university here during the spring and fall. So I'm already strung thin. So maybe someday if I can get some more guys to get involved and help out. But for now, just the men's team.
Justin, do you guys have any youth programs associated with you guys?
No, we don't. So I mean, I coach a bunch of youth. 2 years ago, I was coaching with the junior Firewolves that were running out of Troy, where we were playing. They've turned into the Albany Power, which is the travel team I grew up playing in field. They kind of adopted that box program. So I coach with them, but it's not affiliated with the team. We tried to have a couple of the Firewolves guys to some practices and all that. And, as much as we can grow the game, if it's not affiliated with us, it hasn't been a push for me, but it's definitely something that I like because we've already gotten a couple of guys that played in the Albany Power indoor program that are playing with us right now. So,
Well, you don't have a youth program, but I mean, you have a bunch of college coaches, and you have what, 4
yeah,
colleges in the area, 5 colleges? I mean, how many colleges do you have
yeah.
out there?
I mean, there's Union, Siena, UAlbany. Those are kind of the names that come to mind.
Hudson Valley is right there.
HV, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Sage. We have a bunch of Sage players. So there's
Sienna.
plenty of talent. yeah, there's plenty of talent around. And then like, the college kids that we have, this is over the summer. So we have guys that go to college all over the place. And it's not necessarily one of those places that people come back to after college. So it's been a little harder recruiting that way. But the guys that are in college, I'd say are our superstars. We have guys from St. Joe's, Vermont, Stony Brook, Penn State. We got a bunch of talent like that, if you keep coming back year after year. This is our second year as the Kings, but we were the Albany Hyenas prior to that. So, 4 years running, we've been kind of building chemistry, teaching guys the game the right way instead of just being field guys in a box. So we're getting there culture-wise over time, just by
Yeah, you guys. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys ended up doing pretty well. Your team. You had 3 guys, or was there 4 guys that played PBLA for being a bunch of
Yeah.
field players that are kind of newer to the box. You guys, I mean, you definitely have adapted well. Super talented team. Now, Brian, what is your team like made up of? Do you have a bunch of college guys? I mean, how is?
Yeah, we're pretty split. That's why I was a big advocate for nationals being in August, because we would qualify every year, and every year we've had a program. We've had 28 runners, 2 goalies, but I'd show up to nationals with between 14 and 16 guys, because we'd lose everybody back to school, and it was like, all right, who's still available? Doesn't have a wedding this weekend? Like, we're going to Tampa, we're going to Pittsburgh, we're going to Columbus. So I'm really excited that this year if we are fortunate enough to make it to nationals, it should be the first time we're able to put 18 to 20 guys on the floor and be able to have our best guys going. So I'm really excited about it. I know some guys were saying it's a little bit rushed for it makes the season shorter, but I was really big on it. So I'm really happy to see that, because we're about 50-50. We're half old Canadian guys still playing and half young American guys still in school. So it balances out really well.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
for Justin. That's a big thing too, though. I mean, you guys, you basically could have taken everything you said there, Brian, and just put it
Yeah, I
through
was gonna say
Justin's mouth,
I
and that
remember
was
Color
their
City last year
nationals.
was yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say last year you guys were short numbered. I remember
I
that
think it
very
was
clearly.
I think it was 9 runners by the end of it. I was even
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
they put up
Yeah.
a fight though for a
Oh
10 minute
yeah.
and one goalie. You guys put up a hell of a
Yes.
fight for a couple games.
Yeah, we got some scrappers. We don't give
Yeah.
up. We don't give up easy.
Sure.
But yeah, I
Well,
mean, isn't it probably the same for just about every team? Like
I feel like
I can't imagine.
this year's nationals is going to be the most competitive yet, because of the
Oh,
fact that
100%.
we're doing it in August. I think it's gonna be awesome.
Absolutely.
which
Looking
that, I
forward.
mean, I'm glad you guys voted on that, and that was kind of why we did it. It was, I think, Brian, what you said. Most GMs, I think it was like 90% GMs voted to move it up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like even from Nashville's perspective, like we didn't make nationals last year, but I would have lost probably 5 players, 3 of my better players.
Yep.
But that's also key to buy-in. What Justin was saying is you got to get these younger guys involved in the sport. They got to come back year after year after year. You're going to lose guys naturally to kids, weddings, wives, and all that. But like, I think I was talking to Holding last year at Nationals before one of your guys' games, and he was like, I'm
Yeah.
getting too old to do this.
Yeah, one of our goalies, he'll be 60 this year, right after nationals, but he's still going.
Still going. But he
Yeah.
was last year, even last year, he was hitting that retirement. I
Are
don't
you
think
guys
he-
basically the same team and you're just kind of transplanted? Because Justin, your goalie Deej is definitely no spring chicken. I love watching Deej. He is how has he been doing the double headers in the heat in the summer? And I mean, it kind of benefits you going to nationals because that's how nationals is.
Right. I mean, that's one thing that definitely does benefit you, playing multiple games in a day. If you don't do it normally, it kind of can hit you. But I know that, yeah, DJ's a warrior, man. That guy's, he's never going to show you even if he is hurting. Yeah, he's killing it this year. I mean, we're undefeated in the conditions that we've had. We've had some really tough conditions with the heat, and then last weekend we had a floor that was basically an ice rink. People were falling all over the place. It was terrible. But I mean, Deej has been standing on his head left and right under these tough conditions because, we need him to. He's our guy. He's our only guy. So he's coming to everything, and he's playing great for us.
Yeah, he is one of the most dedicated people I've ever met when it comes to box lacrosse. Though he, works at 4 o'clock in the morning, but still, you guys practice pretty late. He makes practice, loves it. I love it. His dad was at nationals last year. What a great Totally into box lacrosse. Now,
Yeah.
how has your season gone for you up there, Brian? I see you guys. There's a lot of parity in the league this year. I mean, and you guys suffered a loss to was it the Ohio team, but then you guys beat the Ohio team, and it's been all over.
Yeah, we haven't played Ohio the second time yet. We play them Columbus this upcoming Saturday, but we fell victim to, as most do, traveling light. Um, so we were a little short numbered. Came out pretty flat. I think it was 6-0 before we kind of called timeout and collected ourselves, and we ended up losing 10-8. But um, kind of the group we were able to bring was young, so I think it ended up being a good learning experience. You know, there was a lot of new players to our team when we went on that road game, and had a good bounce back win the next day. So it was all right. I'm excited to see how the game goes this upcoming Saturday as a home game, and then we got 2 more games in Detroit, and then on to regionals. So
How are you guys doing your regional format for Great Lakes?
we haven't really hammered it down. We're hosting this year in Grand Rapids, and I know we're going to do the 1-4, 2-3 semi. Last year we were going to do a best of 3 final. This year we've kind of chatted about both, either a best of 3 or just a one and done final game between the 2 winners. Um, so that's something we should probably get hammered down soon. But we do have a date. We do have a date. We have a location. There's only 4 of us, 4 teams, so we all know we'll be there, and then it's just a matter of deciding on that final format.
Yeah,
But
best of 3 plus that 1v4, 2v3. That'd be a gauntlet of a weekend, no?
yeah, it would have to be a Saturday, Sunday. I think a lot of guys, because we are a pretty spread out region, I think we'll probably end up doing just a single game Saturday night for the finals after the 2 semis during the day.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's a brutal, like all these tournaments and the round robin. So like even the battle on the barge, that I mean, just playing 3 games. I mean, granted it's running clock. It is tough on the body. I mean, so all
Oh
of
yeah.
all of the teams that have these college guys, like you said, I think this is going to be a super exciting nationals. I can't wait to see how it kind of turns out.
Well, it also, I mean, to Justin's point is you're going to play 2 or 3 games the first day, probably 2 games Saturday. It's going to be a little bit of gamesmanship of if you bring more than 20 guys, you can only dress 20 guys. So who you sit, who you play, what goalie plays what period. The first round is running clock. The second round's not. So there'll be a lot of interesting kind of chess pieces of who plays when, who plays where.
So it's only 20
Yeah.
guys per game, but they're allowed to still bring the 30-man roster, right? And just suit up 20 guys. Or no, is it 20?
That's what I was gonna say. I'm curious about that because I remember the years past. It was like whatever 20 you decide to bring is what you're bringing.
I mean, I'll double check the bylaws, but I'm 80% sure you can bring your full protected roster to nationals. Sit 10 guys a game. I mean, 10 guys will have to play a doubleheader, but you sit 10, you dress 10. And I mean, you get your free and your pickups as well.
It'll just be nice for, I mean, exactly what Justin ran into last year. Didn't you guys run into like 3-4 injuries by the end?
I mean, game 1, I think there were 2 weekend-ending
So
injuries.
if you can bring
roster.
a couple extra guys, that could be huge because you never know. And I mean,
Right.
I'll tell you guys, by the time we played Westminster, I was cramping so bad, I could barely run. I
remember watching you limp out there.
Oh my God, I was just limping. I was just limping out there, just shooting from the blue line. So I'm like, this is all I got left.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we literally made plays that weekend based on how tired guys were on how to like conserve energy. We run them today, and it's useful plays just because we learned how tired you can be in a 7-game weekend, like whatever.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot.
You guys got creative. You guys just had, I can't think of who it was, but at one point you guys were playing man down defense and you just left somebody down there. And
that's one of our active plays. We did that a handful this weekend.
Now,
and it was line dump and chase.
Yeah.
There's a ton of teams. I've noticed Can-Am, there's a bunch of teams that do that straight up. They play man down defense, and especially these guys that have these huge, like a big goalie. If you've got a guy and you've got a shutdown defense that can really keep that backdoor pass out of the way. And yeah, a lot of guys do it, and they're just confident in their goalie, and they've got these goalies that can laser the pass down to the other side. I mean, it's like a full 200 feet, just perfect right into their stick, and it is a whole nother level of to your offense because it makes the other team. And now they got to decide: do they run an umbrella or a diamond something with somebody high, or do you run 4 guys and leave somebody back to cover the hanger?
So you guys going to do that at nationals this year, Justin? You guys Brian,
if it ain't broke,
yes.
it's some. I mean, we have literally run that every single game this year, just based on the scenario. It's a game where not every team, well, pretty much all the teams in our region, they didn't grow up with box. They don't know it. They don't necessarily know how to play that scenario. So if we can out coach another team, we'll absolutely take every single opportunity we can. So obviously we're practicing our X's and O's, but if that's a strategy that's going to get us goals, then we're going to keep using it.
I mean, you still 3-4 goals before they figure it out.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Especially at nationals, running clock, 3-4 goals can be a death sentence. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Brian, are the Grizzlies going to adopt that? Is that
we've done it in the past. It's definitely an old school Canadian thing too, because when we tried to do it once, Dave, our goalie, got very mad. He's like, "Nope, we're not doing it. Like, get back on D." I feel like it's almost your box version of the 2-point goal. Like, if you're down and you're down 4 or 5 goals late, why not try and get those breakaways, those quick hitters? It's definitely something we know about, but we'll see if you got to pull it out. Hopefully, like I said, you got numbers and you don't need to. It's definitely something like the tired leg play. I think when you're low numbers, it's great.
Maloney was the first person I ever saw do it, and it was when you guys were exhausted, and he stays out there forever. Yeah, yep. And it's definitely an interesting strategy. And if you have a big goalie, it's funny, your goalie was like, no, absolutely not. And when you have numbers, but I've seen teams do it intentionally just because like their man down team was playing so hot essentially that they just kind of left their 4 guys down there and boom.
Yeah, and like you said, if you have a goal you can rely on, like, I mean, why not? If he can throw that dart to you down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like, speaking of like not getting numbers places, there was a fall tournament down in Philadelphia that we were playing, and we brought some of the Kings guys. We brought 9 runners down to a tournament I think it gets up to 5 games. I think it was 4 or 5 games. So we brought 9 runners, and that was our whole day. We had 3 guys, Lucas Maloney was one of them. We had 3 guys that we would stay out, let Deej see outside shots. We were playing man down for 5 games. And
that's wild.
We made it to the championship game. I think we lost by 1 in the championship game. Like, it worked.
Yeah, no, their team is the king of the sandlot. Like, you take the most unconventional play. They're so much fun to film because Lucas too, you never know. They try all kinds of silly stuff and it's hilarious. Like, he'll just be running down the field and you think he's going to throw a fake and do something. He's like under his legs, behind his back. I have got so many highlights. I wish I had enough time to comb through my hard drive and just get the highlights I have of, Maloney doing silly stuff.
We'll throw him in underneath or whatever.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. And when you have now, that's one thing is between goalie and having a guy that can score. Not all of these teams. You guys happen to have, Deej has a ton of box experience compared to a lot of these teams' goalies. You've got a couple guys that have. Brian, I mean, your college guys are most of them new field guys coming into it, or do you have that good mix because you're so close to the border?
Most of our guys they've played box, growing up through their youth programs and stuff. But I think like now that they've joined this team, I think they're kind of learning it in a different way, and it gets guys really excited. And I think that's why we keep seeing more and more guys coming out. This year was the first year we had a significant amount of cuts because, we only able to keep 28 guys. So it's exciting. It's a little sad to let guys go, but we encourage them to come out to practices and keep, practicing with us. That way things change. We've had guys kind of come and go throughout the 4 years, depending on what they got going on in the summer. So it is, we've been able to develop these young American guys that are mostly playing field into really enjoying box to the point that they all season long while they're at school, they're just, messaging me. They're pumped to come back during the summer. So it's nice.
That's how exciting. Jobson ended up on the team, and now we have the Thousand Island Spirits essentially because, like you said, when you don't actually cut guys, I mean, you cut them, tell them, hey, you're probably not going to play on the roster, but you're welcome to come to practice. That is such a huge thing. I mean, and so how are your practices? Do you guys get practice once a week? Do you have good numbers that kind of show up? How do you do it?
Yeah, we usually do Friday nights. If we have like a couple days off or a couple weeks off, sorry, because of our schedule, like we'll take a week off here and there. We do like a golf outing every year to get the guys together, which is always fun. But typically we'll, before game weeks, we'll do like a walkthrough practice. This past weekend, because Columbus wasn't able to make it, we ended up doing a home versus away game. So we got a couple extra bodies to come out and did essentially like an inter squad game. So we keep active, practice pretty much anytime we have a game, and then we just that's pretty much it. Just every Friday and games on Saturday.
Do you guys have enough? You said you had a significant like turnout for tryouts. Do you guys have enough to where you're starting to think there might be a second team kind of brewing, or like you see that in the forefront?
You can tell by the
Maybe.
smile on his face, he's thought about it before. As soon as you said it, I could just see the look, and he was like, "Yeah."
That's what happened with Johnson. I mean, he had to move, but like they had enough guys, and now they got two competitive teams.
Yeah, I think eventually what my hope to see is like having a junior and a senior team. And then because in junior in Canada it's 16 to 21, it's such a huge gap, so you get these kids that are kind of still in high school as well as early college. So my hope is eventually if we can make like a junior team, take them to some Canadian tournaments, like get them actually playing over there, and then also guys that are good enough to make the senior team, allow them to do a senior team. So hopefully eventually like we can do a senior, junior, and then start trickling into youth. Need a lot more guys to help out and myself to have more time, but that'd be really cool to do. That's kind of my hope for the program.
Gotcha. Yeah. Are you worried at all though of someone coming in and being like, "Hey, I'm going to start the Grand Rapids Lumberjacks"?
No, I think we lost him for a minute. Now, Justin, you guys are still doing one night a week that you practice, and you guys have pretty good pickup numbers as far as your practices are usually pretty well attended, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, this, year by year, it's been getting better. I mean, I think you came to one practice where it was like, we had 8 guys at it, something like that. But now we're getting, yeah. And I mean, DJ's our only actual rostered goalie. So we've been getting, a high school kid come in every once in a while. There's, a couple guys in the area that have played box before. If we can get them to a practice, that means we can get up and down. Otherwise, it's, it is that kind of half court stuff that we do. But I mean, that I feel like that's kind of where we need to learn the most. The X's and O's of getting up and down in transition it's finding the guy and putting the ball in the back of the net. But 5-on-5 is definitely where a field player needs to kind of learn, cut his teeth. So we've been doing that kind of play, working on picks, working on switches, defenses, a couple different offenses. That's where we've been spending most of our time in our practices. So if we can get up and down, it's great. It's good conditioning. I know a lot of our guys play in field leagues as well in tournaments. So conditioning isn't the biggest issue for us. But as much as we can get the offense and defense down, that's usually what we focus on.
Yeah, and you guys definitely have a bunch of guys playing that Mohawk League. It's yeah. Now, Brian, do you guys have an outdoor league that a bunch of your guys play in as well, or are you guys pretty much all indoor guys?
No, so we have ULAX in our area. So I've been putting together a Grizz ULAX team for the last couple of years. So we're able to kind of get out on Thursday nights together as well, playing some field, and then box practice on Friday, games on weekends. So the guys are able to be together quite a bit, which has been kind of nice. Most of our team is kind of right here in Grand Rapids. We have a couple guys that drive from like the Lansing area. Obviously we have a handful of guys that are still living in Ontario and Canada, but for the most part, our core is, the majority are in Grand Rapids. So yeah, we get to do that ULAX league, which is a lot of fun and keeps the guys together an extra day.
So you have potential, 3 nights a week you guys are playing together?
Yep. Yeah.
Justin, how many nights a week are you guys together between field and box?
So our field is 2 nights a week, box practice once a week, and then games once a week. So, I have guys that I play with 4 times a week.
Nice. Are you guys all like local to Albany, or do you guys have guys kind of commute? Because you guys are kind of in that like bloodbath of everyone's within an hour or two of each other.
Well, I mean, the vast majority of our team does live in Albany. We have those college guys like I was talking about that, they go to college elsewhere, but come back and live at home for, the 4 summers that they're here. We have the guys that stuck around after college, a good amount of them.
You got guys that drive past Utica to go play with you.
Yeah.
That would always the first time when I found that out, I was like, oh man, he's literally coming from So it's the way these teams break down here because there's so many teams. It's funny. You literally have guys passing each other all over the place on the highway to play. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's like the North, the Empire North, Metro, and New England area all have guys like crossing each other to go play for a different team, mostly just because of who it's still kind of a word of mouth.
Yeah. Paper
Thing
City is how far is Paper City technically from you? You're pretty close to that whole New
uh,
England.
they got to be like less than an hour, something like that from Albany. And then, Cambridge is in Boston, and then there's a team halfway in between those two. And I know people on all three of those teams that will like go to one that's further than the closest one to them.
Well, to put it in
just
perspective, Boston, the farthest one in there, basically besides Maine, is what, 3 hours for you? A little
yeah,
less.
2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's two teams in between, and they all just kind of mix. Yeah, it's funny.
You guys have any issues with like jumpers of like, oh, I'll play with you this year, but then next year they're like, hey, I'm gonna go play for these guys, and then they try to come back? Or
Yeah, and I mean, so there was almost another Albany team. So yeah, there was plenty of that going on when that was happening.
Smoke. The
The
smoke.
smoke, yeah. Didn't happen this year. Might happen, another year. Who knows? But that's because I knew the person that was going to start it up. I basically went to him, said, yeah, if there's any guys that you want, let me know. You can talk to them. It's fine. I'm not here to hold anybody where they don't want to be. Like, that's not the kind of GM I am. So play with who you want to play. If you want to come back, come back. If you want to hop over, go for it. I just want to play good lacrosse over the summer. So that was fine with me either way.
no bad blood if a guy's like, hey man, I'm gonna go play for these guys.
No, I like, he gave me a list of who he was looking at, and I sent him all a text saying, hey, heard that, this team might be looking for you. If it happens, then, go for it and you want to play. If not, you're welcome back. But I think everybody's just looking to play good lacrosse. Nobody wants to be held on a team that they don't want to be on. And I don't want to be a GM of a guy that doesn't want to be on my team. So
Well, no,
go where you want.
Yeah, plus with fits though, I mean you get guys that necessarily, play different styles. You guys have a like Cody and Lucas, you guys have a very interesting it's a Collar City specific style. You talk about that hanging a man, but even when you're not hanging that fifth man, you basically always have some transition threat ready to as soon
Yeah.
as the shot goes, there's somebody going. It's such a fun style to watch. Like you said, there's definitely room. That is one cool thing about being in the area. That's why I really wish we could do different somehow reward out of league play. If we could come up with a great idea to reward like out of division play to make it worth it so these teams all go play each other and then maybe get like a wild card into the nationals or something. I haven't figured it out yet.
That is part of the long-term goal. I mean, that's why the power rankings, one of the factors that goes into the power rankings is out of region play and then strength of schedule of that out of region play. And I know it's difficult. Like Brian, I would love to come play you guys coming from Nashville, but I think Grand Rapids is like 10 hours. Like,
yeah, I know a lot of guys have been like, let's go play the team in Nashville. And I'm like, if we can make it work, like, if I get enough guys to willing to travel, I mean, I'm willing to go. It's just a matter of guys getting work off and everything. So I'm hoping we can pick, like, get GMs to just talking in the off season, like pick a hub. Hey, like, let's do a weekend here. Whoever wants to come and like see if you can get exactly that, like four or five teams from different conferences all to one spot for a weekend. You get 3-4 games in.
Yeah,
because as many guys as you can. But
that's one of the things we want to try to do, and I think that idea right there is perfect. Brian, is like start the conversation in November,
even if it's neutral. Even if it's neutral.
But if you get 4 teams all from different regions, because this year we ended up with 10, but we almost had 9 regions, and we were trying to do the math for nationals. Like, how do we have nationals with 9 regions? That doesn't work out. And the wild card option came up, and it's like, all right, well, let's reward out of region play. But then, a team like Albany, who's near everybody, can play a lot of out of region games. But a team like Grand Rapids, or worse, the Pacific Northwest, like they can't play anybody. They're out.
Exactly.
But I think that's a good idea for next year. And any GMs listening to this call, like, let's start that conversation come September of like,
I got enough guys wanting to do Nashville, man. We'll come to you next year. You come to us the following or something. We'll get creative.
Everybody wants to come to Nashville because
who doesn't?
It's about the second day because you get lost on Broadway and you lose guys.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could meet with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it would be amazing to start getting, like you said, you get so many guys that are willing to travel. I'd love to see it. It does suck, but you talk about what is that, the Gulf Coast League down there with Dallas, and so their closest division, Justin could cover the three divisions around them and still not be within what they drive 12 hours, I think, for one game. That's why when you said it's a 10-hour drive, I think they have a 12-hour drive built into their division.
Oof.
I mean, yeah, let me say, I've got within 4 hours, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I think at least teams within 4 hours of me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, and that's the
then
thing.
5.5 to Columbus.
Yeah, right. Because you know, the doing out of region play, rewarding that, it's great if everyone has the same opportunity. But I mean, it's the Northeast. Obviously, this is going to be where most people are playing lacrosse. So it does kind of pose a little bit more of an advantage up here. But I don't hate the idea for sure.
Absolutely. Now we have not even talked about the power rankings. We've been 30 minutes here. We started touching on them. Let's take a look at the power rankings. We got number 1, Cambridge Nor'easter.
Yeah.
Now what?
Speaking of that, they're up there because I think they have 2 or 3 out of region games, and I don't think anybody else has that in their region yet.
Now what bumped them up this week? I mean, so what was it that they saw? Because last week we had Westminster up top. How did things shake out here?
Total games played, and then out of region. They got 2 out of region wins for sure, if not 3. Total games played, total games logged on the website. Justin, before we were live, I was giving you kind of crap about that.
Yeah,
we're trying to we're trying to reward the activity of GMs, and they put their stuff in, I think 5 minutes after the games ended. And so they're 5-0. They got 2 out of region wins. It's just kind of a no-brainer. And nothing against the Wild, but I think they're 4-0. They're missing 1 or 2 games on the website. They haven't played anybody out of region. Just we're trying to reward that, Ken. So just give them a bump.
Well, I mean, if the Wild could have made it to Battle on the Barge, they were supposed to be one of our Battle on the Barge teams. I made T-shirts that had the Wild on it, and then the night before we're cutting out the Wild. We're just like scissoring them out of the graphics. We're like, that's it. You guys didn't make the cut. You're done.
Yeah.
All right, and this is a big bump. So now you guys haven't had a chance to play them yet, have you, Justin?
No, we were in talks with them earlier in the year when we had a couple gaps in our schedule. You know, they've got a really good following. They've got a bunch of fans up there, and I think they wanted us to come up on a weekend that I don't think we were going to have enough guys to drive 4 hours. Like, you know, they are in New York, and
they're the farthest trip for you, though. You'd be faster going to Boston than you would to Thousand Islands.
way faster to Boston. I mean, it's closer to Philly than it is to these guys. So it's a hike to get our guys there, and we definitely want to play them. You know, they're a solid team. I know a handful of the guys on that team. We would definitely love to get a game with them, but it just didn't work out this year. Hopefully soon though.
So let me ask you this: you guys are technically 4-1, 5-1,
5-1, yeah.
5-1. They're 6-2, full strength. Who wins?
I mean, so the guys that I know on that team are real solid. You know, they have some really good guys that have played on the res for their whole lives.
They got a lot of Aquasasne guys. They got a couple Onondaga guys. They got a that team is no joke. They I don't think they're going to be a pushover for anybody. I think whoever ends up with them is going to be a beast. Plus, when you add though that you go up to that hot box that they have of a facility, it's warm and they pack it in. It's like the perfect size for the amount of fans he has. It's a sold out crowd. The environment he puts on in the Thousand Islands is, I honestly would say it would rival. If you could just get an air conditioner in there, it would make it a lot better. But other than that, it'll rival anywhere. They have, a couple hundred people that get in there, maybe 300 people that get in there, and that's about how many people it holds, and it's fun.
Yeah, and that's awesome to play in too. You know, like regardless of who wins or who loses, you know, we want to play good lacrosse, and if we can play in a place where people are cheering or booing or doing whatever, like that atmosphere is just real fun to play in. You don't get that much after college, you know. That's something we definitely look for.
So close game. You guys play even strength. You think it's a back and forth banger of a game?
I think it's going to be back and forth. Yeah. You know, they got a lot of skill. We got a lot of heart. We'll see who pulls it out.
Hey, okay. Well, maybe nationals. Maybe. I mean,
that's right.
Hopefully, we'll have to check it out. Now, let's see number 3.
Oh, yeah, the perennial champion still holding strong, but again, they haven't played anybody outside of their region. Not to say their region's soft, but they haven't played anybody outside their region. So the other two teams got their reward to just moving up. And Thousand Islands was coming off of a win versus, I think Oswego was number 4 last week, right, Greg?
Yeah, Oswego was 4 last week, and I tell you, Thousand Islands is on a roll. They're peaking. They are going to be playing this Friday in Utica. That is going to be a very tough game. I would definitely tune in to watch that game because there is going to be sparks. I don't care what anybody says. Both of those teams play with a ton of pride and a ton of passion. You got a lot. Nobody wants to lose that game. There's going to be a lot of smack talk, I think, starting pretty soon. It's going to be interesting. The Wild, though, like you said, the perennial powerhouse. They've got a lot of offense. They're a team that when I talked to them, they started out as a lot of field players that have played box, and they're definitely doing a great job adjusting. But now here's another perennial team. They've been around forever. I mean, they seem, and they actually they had a little chink in their armor this year too. They got beat. Now, Brian, had you guys ever lost before in your division this year? Because I know you guys are kind of had your way in that division. It seemed is what I had heard.
Yeah, that was our first loss actually. So we were able to play Maine last year. It was a great game. I think we lost by 1, kind of a late late goal by them, put them ahead. So, but other than that, our region, we've kind of had our way up to now, but it is getting a lot more competitive. We had a really close game with Detroit this year to start the year. Obviously Columbus beating us, so it's good. It helps better prepare whatever team makes the nationals.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of was getting at earlier when I was talking about you guys had lost to Columbus, but Detroit beat Columbus and you beat Detroit. So everybody in that
Yeah.
league is kind of
whoever travels strong, who's ever bringing more than 13 guys on the road.
yeah. Well, I always like to call it that MMA math because it's great to stack your numbers up, but really there's different styles that make things a lot more entertaining. And honestly though, a hot goalie, I don't care, that throws a monkey wrench in anybody's plan, and you all of a sudden get a hot goalie come nationals.
Oh yeah, shout out to Columbus's goalie. I don't know his name, but he played on his head when we went down to Columbus because like I said, we went down, but then after that we were just peppering him with shots, and he stood on his head. I'd like to know how many saves he had in that game if they recorded it.
I was just gonna say I'll look it up right now, and if everybody recorded the stats, it will be up there.
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
I know I took like 12 shots. Maybe I think I had 2 or 3. So.
Oh wow, that's rare for you. Usually you're a 4 or 5 goal game guy, aren't you?
He played, like I said, he played amazing.
Wow.
That's awesome. You love to hear it though, because that's what an effect that has in any game is. And when you get these guys that learn that you're not getting much room and you got to move them. All right, and the Nashville Ignite breaking into the top 5. Here we go. How's 3-0 in the in your division? And you guys have started off, a great beginning for you.
Yeah, and so the only reason why we're 5, I think after us is a bunch of 3-0s. We're the only one that has the out of region win because we played Raleigh. They're not in our region, and that's the only kind of the reason because I think it's us, Seattle, Minneapolis, and I think there's another 3-0 team. But full disclosure, again, Justin, if you guys were 5-1 on the website, and I knew you were 5-1, you guys would definitely be there, not us. So get on the website, man.
Yeah. I got you.
But yeah, so I think 5, 6, 7, and I think even 8 are 3-0 if I'm correct. So it's really kind of the last, that back half is kind of a kind of anybody's game going into nationals of kind of how the rankings fall out.
Yeah. So it says that he had only 23 saves in that game, but you're saying
there's no way. I took 12 shots myself at least.
What did you
hit? That guy.
It's got to be in double that number at least.
Wow. Okay.
That's amazing because I was going to say that that is something to see though. Is Deej is one of those guys. He can completely turn it around. Now, what do you got for goalie? Being in Nashville, were you guys able to find a goalie that has played box lacrosse before? Did you guys end up with a hockey goalie, Tim? How did your goalie end up?
So we have two goalies. We actually just picked up a third goalie literally yesterday. A high school kid of mine who wanted to try it out, and as soon as he got hit, he was like, "This is awesome! I don't even feel it." Like, yeah, man, welcome to the box. But he's still a little small. But no, both our goalies are field converts that just they wanted to try it out and they kind of stuck with it. And one of them he's a better box goalie than he is a field goalie. I've told him that to his face before. He's not a bad field goalie, but he's 10 times better in the box. Somehow he just gets it, and it just clicks. No formal coaching or anything. He just kind of got it.
That's awesome. Yeah, and now we see the Wheat Kings sitting here at 3-0. Wheat Kings, did either of you guys play them in nationals last year?
Yeah, we did. I think we beat them. That was a game where we lost to Utica by 1, Maine by 1. So we kind of understood the assignment. I think we had to win by 6. We won by 8. And that's how we were the fortunate. The one I think us, Minneapolis, and Utica were all 1 and 2, but we got that semifinal pass because we literally knew exactly the math on what to do going into that game, and we're able to do it. So we've only played Minneapolis once. We beat them last year. Yeah.
That's right. Because it came down to goal diff.
Yeah. We knew we had to score. We had to win by 6, so we knew exactly what to do going into that game, which is kind of exciting. But especially being able to get it done.
Yeah, especially when everybody, a lot of times you'll get that, tournament math. Everybody starts to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's one thing to know it. It's another thing to actually be able to go out and execute it.
Right.
Seattle, again, another team. So when you look through this, with the exception of Austin and Oswego, these were all national teams last year as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think the beauty of these rankings is anybody can probably beat anybody, especially in the format of nationals. Of you got to do the math for goal differential, but also, like we were saying earlier, it could be your second game of the day, third game of the day, or your fifth game in 48 hours, and it kind of comes down to who's got bodies, who's fresh, how the goalie's seeing the ball, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, now that is that's why I think it'll be really interesting. So if you have 3 goalies, if they're part of your 30-man roster, that is a huge thing down in nationals. One goalie injury, you're done. But I mean, honestly, if you get a hot stick at nationals, Justin, have you guys played any other than the field? Do you guys play tournaments at all as a team throughout the season, or do you guys kind of take the rest of the summer off and then as soon as summer's over, you guys will fire back up doing tournaments? But you play for everybody. You play for Bank City. You play wherever you can kind of get on.
Yeah, I mean, Lucas and I have kind of hopped on just about whatever team will take us for a tournament or two. So, we kind of just fill our time as we can. We haven't made a big push to be a team in the off season. Just one, because, getting guys to commit is tough. Everybody's got plans. They play a lot of, almost every single one of our players plays field and box throughout the summer. By the time the summer's over, guys are like, I'm done. I'm out. Give me some time. I need to rest. And I get it. But for the hungry guys, there's a bunch of lacrosse. It's the Northeast. You can kind of find it anywhere. So, hopefully in the future, when we get a little more commitment, we can start rolling around as the Kings, putting teams in to the tournaments that I've been playing in for years.
We need to have a battle out there. I think whichever Kings team comes first to nationals, you get to keep the Kings, and then we're getting rid of all the rest of them.
I'm here for this
year.
Make a crown each year gets passed.
Yeah.
Get a Burger King crown, pass it around. We'll do it right.
That's right.
Yeah, if we can get Mimbo and Dave to agree to that, Justin, are you game for that? I'll make the crown myself.
I'm here for it. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
It'll be like our version of the BMF belt in the UFC.
That's right. Yeah.
You get it. If you lose, you're just Collar City. You're not the Kings anymore.
Well,
right. Yeah. You gotta find a new name. Maybe the winner picks the name of the other teams.
No, that'll get messy.
No, I'm kidding.
Dave, and I don't know you that well, but I know.
I get messy.
Yeah,
I get messy.
Actually, Nick's supposed to be on next week, so we'll definitely ask Nick, and then we'll try to get it through Dave later. Now, Brian, what about you guys? Are you guys a tournament team, Grand Rapids, or just your field team? Do you guys play together all winter, kinda, or what's your schedule like?
We haven't in the past. I know guys have kind of chatted about it, but we have a lot of coaches, a lot of guys that are half the team goes back to school, the other half are all kind of involved in universities around here. There isn't, other than Davenport University now being at D2, it's all tons of NCAA D3 schools, NAI schools, club schools. So all in West Michigan, all pretty close. So we just have a lot of guys that are kind of involved with that. So, like Justin said, numbers get a little lower. So guys kind of will go play with other teams if they can. But would love to be able to put a team together, do like winter tournament. But most of them are pretty far from Michigan. I know. I think isn't there one in Vegas and some stuff in the Northeast, but
Laxney in
nothing.
Utica.
Yeah, as I say, nothing's really close to us. I'd have to get everyone to get their passports.
Every year, isn't there like a Royal Motor City Rumble or something like that?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. So one of our coaches actually put together kind of a Grizzly team, but it was mostly just university kids here to get them in a tournament. You're right. I forgot about that. We haven't put our actual Grizz team in, but we've lent our jerseys out. So
kind of
the Grizzlies kind of played in it, I suppose.
Yeah. So
guys.
essentially, you were in there then. The Grizzlies were in there. That's like Paul's got bag square jerseys on the U.S. Nationals.
We actually made a junior team. Our coach made a junior team. And they did our jerseys in like a blue and red. So they did put together like a junior squad, and then I know our goalies helped out. And then like maybe 5 or 6 guys on our current team played in that tournament. So maybe this year we'll see if we can put together a full team for it. That'd be good to get the guys together again.
I mean, you guys want to come down to Nashville? There's a tournament in November down in Nashville. Just saying. Open invite.
How many teams are out there? That will be the excuse to finally go to Nashville.
It's close to last night's size now. There's 6 native teams coming down. Bank City's coming down. We're putting a team in. I think there's 4 NABLL total league teams.
All right.
Justin, are you playing for anybody in that? I mean, I know you kind of find yourself around all over.
Yeah, no, I was asked about the Bank City team. I just think it didn't work out whatever weekend it was, but I mean, I've heard that's an amazing tournament, so I'd definitely like to make it down to that.
Is that the one Bank City won last year?
Yeah, Bank City beat I think like the River Rats maybe, or Pong, or the Frog Maulers, I think.
Yeah.
But open invite. Yeah, we had a team. Wasn't our full strength squad. We had a couple like guys who wanted to try out box, which that's not the tournament to try out box. Played 2 native teams and had a couple guys quit mid tournament. Had one guy play without ribs against the River Rats.
Ooh.
That did not go well. But this year we're trying to be a little more full strength, and then we may have a secondary team with like free agents and stuff.
Maybe just get some rib pads for anybody you bring that's new, because I could not imagine playing against somebody who came off of one of these, native nations and went down there with a woody. Did they let them play with a wooden stick?
Yeah, those tournaments technically, I don't think anybody did, but I think they could if they wanted to. But he was he was real cocky. He's like, I'll be fine, and tried to cut through the middle and just got obliterated a couple times.
He's lucky he didn't get broken ribs.
Yeah,
I play defense. If I found out you're not wearing rib pads,
oh right, like
come here, come on over.
Well, that's field players. That's the South for box lacrosse. Like for you guys, like I get guys every year they show up and they're like, oh, I don't need biceps, and I play defense. So I'm like, oh, okay, boom. Like, how'd that feel?
Now, how many 300-mile-per-hour shots do you get into the shin pads when the field guys show up? Because that's my favorite, is you see them all 100 miles an hour right into the shin guards.
Oh, split, dodge down the alley. I've seen guys try to do like the alley shot and like their stick hits the boards because they just run out of room, or they like run themselves into the boards, and they're just like the math doesn't compute for the first like 10 reps. Yeah, it's just part of growing the game though. Is you got field guys and they got to learn the dimensions of the field. And they got to go from field to a box.
Yeah. Now, Brian, what kind of facility do you have that you're practicing in? And Justin, you've got all kinds of facilities that you actually get access to. How are you taking care of up there?
Yeah, we had a rink that had turf. Our first year was COVID year, so we played outdoors, and we moved into one that had turf, and then now we're at Eagles Ice Center, kind of close to nearish downtown Grand Rapids, but it's concrete. So me and the other 8 Canadians on our team, like we're all about it, because that's all we play growing up is the concrete. I know a lot of the field guys hate it. They want to play on the carpet or turf, but I love concrete. So if Nationals is ever on concrete, like cast my vote yes now. So, but yeah, it's a hockey rink that's converted. We're able to get in there honestly pretty much whenever we'd like. So it's really convenient for us.
Year round, they actually leave it open?
No, so they'll
Oh, okay.
melt it. They melt it in April, late April, and then they wait till we're done regionals to put the ice back in.
Nice. Justin, is there anywhere you guys are practicing on concrete? Because I know you were at Troy, but now you were, what, in Bethlehem and Hudson Valley, or where are you practicing now?
So now we're actually practicing at this outdoor rink that they put turf down in. So we're practicing outdoor right now, and it's like a small box. It's like way smaller than regulation, so it's like kind of nice to be able to get up and down but not
With your
kill yourself.
5-on-5 guys too, with one goalie, that probably works. Where is
Oh,
it?
we go. It's in Niskayuna, but
All right.
it's and we even go 4-on-4 getting up and down just because like spacing it works out better like that. But honestly, it's kind of the perfect situation for us, knowing that most of our guys are playing 2 other days of field lacrosse, and then we got a game every weekend. That's a double header. That's 6 games ish of lacrosse a week. That's a bunch of lacrosse. So having the short field, having the turf, it's good for us. Yeah, we did play on concrete for the first 2 years of our program, and it's definitely a big adjustment, playing on turf to going back to concrete. We played on sport court this weekend, and our guys are used to taking these big shots that might roll out to half if they're lucky. You take a shot and you miss completely on a sport court or concrete, you're playing defense, Yeah, no chance you're getting that ball.
No, it's the first time somebody ever told me that they actually enjoyed it more, I thought they were messing with me when they were like, "No, concrete's a lot more fun." I was like, "How could concrete be a lot better than running around?" But the way the ball bounces, they said the speed, and I mean Brian could probably speak to it, but I know you can too. Like the way guys learn to bounce shots, so you're actually kind of reaching around and you do that little like twist flick of the wrist as you're shooting. It helps you shoot around the goalies. But you see some funny stuff on concrete, man. That ball has a mind of its own. It gets behind the goalie and it's just like squirreling this way and that way. Ooh.
Yeah, learning to play it off this, like spinning off the boards. I remember at the Troy Knickerbocker, that's they freshly did the concrete, I think 2 years before we got in there, and I've played plenty against boards that have turf or that have like even sport court, like a hard plastic, but nothing grabs the ball like that concrete.
Yeah,
It's
it's
fun.
a. What are you guys playing on, Tim?
We're on sport court. That like the sport court with like the little holes in it. But so when the ball hits it right, you can actually it'll actually like hit one side of the sport court. So it's almost like concrete of like you kind of really never know where it's going to go. It just depends what seam it hits and what it feels like bending which direction, which is kind of fun, but also really annoying at times.
Yeah, because that adds a whole nother level with the seams. At least on the concrete, it's it only spins kind of in a couple directions. When you have the seam adding to the spin, you must get some really unique like little, especially like if it rips the crossbar and then down into the crease. That's the worst one for me. Is you're watching some of these goalies, you think they make a huge save, and it just like hits behind into the concrete. It's like, nope, I'm gonna spin in, or oh no, you're gonna get lucky. This one's gonna trickle just around the pipe.
Yeah. The sports court we have is weird because like if you're coming around a pick and trying to like kind of bounce it far post, if it hits the wrong spot on that little square, because it's like an 8-inch or maybe a 9-inch square, if it hits the wrong spot, you could be aiming for far pipe, but you're going to go into the corner. It's not even going to touch the net. Or it could hit the wrong part of the square and go closer to near pipe or something like that. It kind of does what it wants. You can't really like aim your bouncers that well. Kind of annoying actually.
Yeah, it sounds it. Everybody kind of gets used to playing home court advantage now. Brian, you guys consistently have 2 goalies that show up for you guys so you can play full field practice.
Yeah, we do. Yep, we're fortunate in having Brett and Dave out there. We had Dave alone our first year, and then we've had Brett since. So it's been nice having the 2 of them. They get along really well, so it's good. A couple Canadian guys helping out the D. So I
Okay.
kind of leave defense to those 2, letting them kind of be in charge, and then leaving myself on offense. It's been kind of nice to have our coaches and then kind of a couple player coaches helping guys out. So
Well,
it's been good.
goalie is, yeah, it's such a position that it's if you have somebody who has the knowledge. So I'm guessing you said they're Canadian. They played box growing up.
Yeah, so Dave, he's from Whitby. He's actually in the Canadian Hall of Fame. Won a Minto with Whitby way back when. He's, like I said, his
people always ask how old he is, and his number on his jersey is his birth year, and he wears 63. So I just tell people do math. And then Brett, he's an Orangeville kid. Played, I think he played before Alora. He was with I want to say Aurelia, but yeah, he played Alora Junior B before going to Adrian, which is I believe D3 here in Michigan, and then he stuck around, and we kind of got connected through mutual people, and yeah, he's been playing with us since.
Yeah.
And then the nice thing is too with Dave. Dave's Cam Holding's dad, so he Cam's still playing out for San Diego on the Seals. So it's nice, kind of. We always pick his brain on what to do, and kind of have another, kind of a guy just telling us, what the NLL is doing offensively, defensively, man up, and we try and implement some of that stuff in what we're doing. So it's kind of been a nice, having that friendship with Dave and having a relationship with Cam. It's been good for our program.
That explains the robots that Greg was talking about earlier. Is you guys? Yeah. I remember watching you guys last year, and you guys. It doesn't matter what five you got on the floor. You guys just run.
Trying to teach the right way, and it's like I said, we don't always have the roster that's just full of D1 guys, but we have just a good group of guys that have bought in and get along really well with each other. I think again that's why we're able to have some success, and every year of our program we've made it to the semis and then finals 2 years ago. So it's been good. I hope we can continue to grow and get better.
Yeah, it's most of these programs now, it seems like everybody's in that 4 to 5 year age range, which is why I think, this year going to nationals, you're really going to see, because it takes anybody who's ever built like a high school program or a kids program,
takes a bit.
5 to 10 years before you really start to see the results, because you need to bring guys in, unless you're fortunate enough to end up, start a team with 12 guys that happen to know what they're doing. As you're filling out, you get, and most of this league seems to, you guys have a little bit different experience, and Justin, you guys kind of lucked out too, where you guys have a ton of field, box experience now with some of the guys, but every team seems to have a handful of guys, and then it's a bunch of field guys kind of teaching the knowledge, and everybody's getting the game experience, just getting out there.
Yeah.
I think this national will be great too. Like you said, all of that, everyone's getting to year 4 or 5, and now can actually bring 20 guys to nationals. With it not being during school, it's gonna be some really good lacrosse there in August. So it's gonna be a great tournament.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, as much as I think of a team like Maine, who a bunch of their original guys came from the Vermont Voyagers, which is a really good box program. A lot of those guys have not only a lot of knowledge about the game, but they've played together so much that they had a bunch of chemistry as soon as they put on the jersey. That was a team that seemed impossible to catch. I started playing off in the New England region, driving out to Massachusetts every weekend when I started playing box. And that was a team that we just never thought we were going to be able to beat or put a team against. But, you get a group of guys together, practice with them a couple times, understand what they know. And, you said we've been fortunate to have a guy like Rob, who's been playing for decades. Somebody like Cody, who's been growing up playing box, a guy like Lucas, who is smart. He's a hockey guy, but he also grew up playing field and box lacrosse. So.
Lucas is one of those freak lacrosse players, though. I've watched him play goalie. I've watched him play, all over the place. He is he's one of those super talented guys that just and him and Cody. Yeah, you guys do have a very unique and I see you got a hat trick in your last game. Congratulations! You guys have this awesome transition style, and the best part is it's transition that you could just leave Lucas or whichever guy down below, and even the face-offs you guys have. Yeah, just quite the combination of players. It's really interesting to see when your full team. Honestly, I say it all the time. I would put Collar City's full team up against anybody in the league if they can get their whole roster there. It's just a matter of time, and I promise you it will be one of the most entertaining games you'll ever see, because they do a lot of silly shenanigans with it, and there's the stick talent, the small pocket passing, as you get kind of in the higher levels, you start to see that with some of the with your team. Yeah, I say it all the time, Justin. I think your team really fully dressed. I'll put you guys up against anybody watching you.
No, I appreciate that, Beecher.
Absolutely, yeah. And plus, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pulling for you. My cousin, hopefully, going to be a king here in a couple years. He's getting bigger. But now, we've been doing this for an hour, guys. I all of a sudden looked and I was like, wow, we just hit 60 minutes. So, Justin, we'll go with you first, and then we'll go up to Brian. Kind of, how do you guys post everything? I know you guys are like a hidden secret. You don't promote or anything, but what do you what do you recommend for anybody who wants to find you guys to play?
I mean, Collar City Kings Instagram, you're not going to find much on there, but that's where we're at. We have our regional championship. That's going to be August 13th at Newburgh. If anyone's around for that, come stop by. Should be great lacrosse for the day, and if things work out, we'll be out in Ohio soon, or Illinois soon.
You're going back to Ohio. Everybody else is going to be
We're
in
going back. Yeah,
Chicago.
we'll
but...
go back to we'll go wherever. Yeah.
They got a replay last year. They didn't have enough guys. That's only
Yeah,
fair.
they're going to show
That's
up with
right.
everybody.
That's
Just
right.
take a picture out front of the Resolute Center there. Hey, we're here. Where's everybody?
We made it. Yeah.
Hey, what about you, Brian? Now, what is the best way to get a hold of you and follow the?
Yeah, our social media front's we use it enough. It's mostly run by me. I'm kind of the Jackie Moon of our squad, doing just about everything, playing, running the online stuff, doing all the bookkeeping, all that fun stuff. So if you're ever looking at our squad, it's the Instagram's usually the best, and then probably my personal account. As you know, I don't always check that Instagram enough. I need to be a little more active, but yeah, that's we got a decent little following going now. I just need to get more live action stuff, some video stuff. So
Well,
yeah,
you guys had the YouTube, which I wish I had a little more time to clip. So
yeah.
that is such a big thing, though. Is like if anybody puts it on YouTube, at least you guys get to watch it.
Oh, it's hit or miss though. I literally before game days, like the week of, I'm like, hey, I need a volunteer run the door, run the box, take videos. I'm like, if you guys want to film, like, get a girlfriend, get a wife up there, because I can't do it all. So it's hit or miss if we get photos done, if we get videos done. But this year's been a little bit better so far. I think we got a young group that they want to rewatch themselves play, so they're willing to get their dads or their moms to come out and film. So it's been all right for us so far.
Well, and that's one thing that the league has a folder for you guys. If anybody has footage, drop the goals, or if they have it streamed on YouTube, if you guys just send messages to me with the timestamps, I'll go
Okay.
through and clip them. I don't. I wish I had enough time to watch everybody's games, but I really don't have enough time to watch all the games.
Right.
But I could go through and like grab a couple of timestamps and make some pretty sweet footage. And that is one thing I can't wait for nationals. We've got an upgraded camera now. We even kind of know how to operate it a little better. So that's we're moving in the right direction. All right, Tim. Well, let's end off with you. And what new league news? We actually didn't spend any time announcing anything about the league other than the power rankings, but yeah.
I mean, nothing really. I mean, we're kind of full bore. All regions are playing and cooking with gas. I mean, I'm excited to kind of see some mix-ups in the power rankings. I'm going to predict a couple upsets in the top 5 probably in the next couple weeks. So I'm interested to see how that goes. And then I already harped on these guys enough, but just everybody else, get on the website, get your stuff on the website, get your stuff on the social media. So we can start kind of posting more stuff out and have more accurate stats, have more accurate power rankings. Because Justin, I owe you guys an apology. You guys should be ranked in front of my team, but it's half your fault, half my fault.
No, yeah, I apologize for not getting on it. It's we'll get it up there and we'll get those rankings straightened.
All the GMs are one-man shows out here.
See, I think
Yeah,
this is.
that's
I think
exactly right.
honestly, this is just how Justin keeps him on the down low, so that way nobody really knows. Collar City's like the little hidden gem out there. They're like, no, we're just kind of barely muddling through. We got like maybe one guy that can score goals. Everybody else on our team is
It's not a tough strategy. Show up to nationals unranked and pull off a couple upsets. It could
That's
work.
right. Yeah, we're the 2-1 team at nationals. Come find us.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good night, and we will see everybody next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
You guys.